Classic car restoration projects are becoming more and more popular. You take a classic vehicle and bring it into the modern era while preserving certain key elements of its heritage, but with modern technology. New chassis, suspension, brakes, powertrain, creature comforts. The reason I think these are becoming really popular is we have a generation of people getting to the level of success where they want to experience their childhood dream cars, maybe something they had on a poster or their family had, but they don't want the compromises of an older vehicle. So they want the modern version of it, but it still has the same experience, hence vehicles like this. These two are from Velocity Restorations. We have a 1972 K5 Blazer and a 1971 Bronco, and today we are going to see what they are like. This segment has a lot of different options now. You have things like Icon 4x4. They've been making things like the FJ and the Bronco. You have Velocity Restorations, and they don't just build these two. They have a whole lineup of 6 different vehicles ranging from Blazer, Bronco, International Scout, F100, F250, and even a Mustang restoration too. But today we are going to be seeing what these two are like. I'm quite interested. Caveat here, if you guys know my videos and know me, this is not my typical kind of vehicle experience. I'm usually playing with sports cars, supercars, exotics, but I want to see what kind of experience these two vehicles offer. We're going to get up close, check out the exterior, interior, talk about the powertrain, some of the details that Velocity puts into these builds, take them for a drive, see how they compare, what the experience is like, and we'll talk about the value because they do come with quite hefty price tags. So let's talk the powertrain, starting with the 72 K5 Blazer. These are both part of the Signature Series and they have upgraded V8s. The Blazer has an LT1, the GM crate engine, so naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8, making 460 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. That is paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, but it's more than just swapping in a new engine and transmission. There's other upgrades too. We have 4-wheel Willwood disc brakes, electric booster, we have a Velocity aluminum fuel tank, we have Fox coilover shocks on this one, Dana 44 axle up front, Dana 60 out back for the Blazer here, and this one's on a roadster stop chassis. For the Bronco, you gotta put a Ford in there, right? So it's got a Gen 3 Coyote V8, 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. That makes 460 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque paired to a 10R80 transmission, so they're both 10 speeds. Similarly, we have the disc brake upgrade. We've got the aluminum fuel tank. This one has a Dana 44 up front and a Ford 9-inch rear axle out back. Now with that, let's grab the camera. I'm going to take you up close on a tour of the exterior, some of the details, because look at the paint on these two. They look absolutely gorgeous, and then we'll hop in, take them for a drive. Let's check out the exterior, interior, and some of the cool details on these two Velocity Restoration builds. So the Blazer here is finished in a paint called War Bonnet. It's this dark yellow metallic, really aggressive name for a paint, War Bonnet. Looks pretty cool. It's got the two-tone finish with the white on the lower. We've got 35-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain tires, 18-inch chrome wheels, and this is really cool too. When you open the door, we've got the power side step that comes out right there, help you get in. When you close the door too, it'll retract. And it's also very, very satisfying, the opening and closing, just the mechanical engagement there. It is just very, very solid feeling. That is always cool. The big K5 Blazer badge on the side. These are absolutely pristine too. Got the manual adjust side mirrors there. See those 35-inch BF Goodrich tires, and no roof. It's just this custom fabricated roll cage there, and it's just open air experience. They also replaced the glass, the seals around everything there, so it really does. It is essentially brand new. Upgraded LED lights up front too. Similar treatment on the Bronco, but obviously on a Bronco. This paint is aventurine green, which, if you recognize that from the 992 generation Porsche, that's I think where it launched, and it looks so good. The metallic flake here in the sun. It's a beautiful day out today. The paint on both of these looks so nice. The chrome, bright work, everything is polished up nicely. With the red Ford lettering, also the LED lighting up front. If you look down underneath, you can see the Dana axles. On the Blazer, you can actually see the Fox shocks right there too. The Bronco is on 33-inch BF Goodrich tires on a 2.5-inch suspension lift, so not quite as aggressive as the Blazer. You see the Blazer's quite a bit taller. And then we've got the Bronco badge here on the side. This one has the billet exterior and interior package. So like the door handle here, that's all billet machine. And you can see a little Velocity V logo, similarly opening and closing it. Just very satisfying sound. Also have the power side step. It does have the soft top up there, but don't get caught in a rainstorm because you probably won't have a good time. Around back, you see the Ford logo stamped there in the tailgate, the Velocity badge. Got a license plate offset there. This aventurine green is really, really nice. I like it. It's a little more subtle, kind of safari, army looking. This is also billet too. So everything outside here is gonna be billet, which is just so nice. Even on the inside, like the locks here, that's billet. This door handle opening, that's all billet. This is the window control. It doesn't roll, it's power windows. You just toggle this up and down, but that's also billet aluminum. A glimpse at the interior of the Bronco. You get new seats, reupholstered here. You can get heated seats. There's a lot of optional upgrades too. The wooden steering wheel. It looks so nice. A lot of good attention to detail. Let's check out the interior of the Blazer. Oh, it's a lot taller, you can tell. Similar thing, reupholstered seats. You got an updated screen there, the wood steering wheel. I'll talk about the controls and how it feels when we're driving. So it's got the soft top on there too. This one's got the billet door handles. And similarly, this is for the power windows up and down. All right, let's fire up that LT1 V8. Give it a couple revs. Sounds pretty good. 72. This is from Velocity Restorations. No. I'm just doing a video with it. Yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Eddie.
Eddie?
Sorry I'm not getting on. I'm like all mic'd up and GoPros and everything running. So yeah, I'm about to film a video.
All right, cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too. That was just the second. I've had this truck for like an hour. Within the first 30 seconds, I was stopped at a red light and somebody's like, is that a 72? I've got one too. This is awesome. That guy also has a K5 Blazer and was so interested he pulled over on this canyon road to see it. So clearly the enthusiast resonates with this vehicle. They see it and it catches their eye and they have to come check it out. And I'll be honest, I did not expect that because again, this is not my world. I'm not into classic trucks in that way. If it was a classic like Mustang or Ferrari, yeah, I'd be like, of course. But it's really, really cool. It's part of the experience, that passion and enthusiasm. That's why people want builds like this. Initial impressions driving it. I'm on a pretty curvy canyon road. This is still a big truck, right? Roser shop chassis, disc brakes, but it's still, this is not like a modern truck by any means. And that's the charm. This steering wheel is absolutely hysterical. It's wood, very thin, and like the spokes are in a weird angle. Like I would expect it to be like kind of even across and then one down, but it's like straight is slightly off center. So that threw me off at first. Very, very light steering. We've got these 35-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain tires, which obviously all-terrain, so not going to be the best for handling. A big impression I had was the commanding road presence. This thing is high off the ground. Like your regular run-of-the-mill Silverados and stuff, everything looked really small on the road. I honestly feel like I'm as high up as I would be in like a Raptor or a TRX. And then you get the soundtrack too. That V8 rumbling away with the exhaust. I don't know if this one has the headers. I think the Bronco has headers and exhaust, but they both sound good. You can't go wrong with a big pushrod naturally aspirated V8, right? It's just... This is just a really cool, fun experience. Very unlike pretty much anything I've driven. I mean, probably the closest thing from modern era maybe is like a Jeep Wrangler 392 Rubicon, where the road manners are not necessarily the best, but it's got that V8 rumble, and it's just for fun, right? It's just absolutely for fun. Velocity Restoration is an interesting company. I was looking them up before coming to drive these. They've been around for a good amount of time. They're based out of Florida, and they have this giant 135,000 square foot facility. So they do everything end-to-end in-house, from paint to the fabrication to CNC machining parts. Everything is done there. Interior reupholstering. So they get to control everything with their vehicles. And it's more like almost like a dealership approach where you can buy the model, right? They've got this model line. You can customize things like paint, and there are options too, but it's not quite as full bespoke custom as some other options in the market would be. The upside to that is the turnaround time is substantially quicker. They claim 14 weeks for the Bronco and 16 weeks for the K5 if I have my numbers correct. That is literally like years faster some other ones. Some other, I think Icon has like multi-year wait lists, but also because their stuff is a bit more bespoke custom, that may be a cause there. They also come with a full 2-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. You buy this K5, you buy the Bronco, you're worry-free for 2 years. And with a LT1 crate motor and 10-speed, I mean, it's a pretty solid combination. It's still relatively simple vehicle, especially when you compare it to modern era stuff, which has all the fancy computers and screens and whatever. It gets up and goes. And that 10-speed gave me a kick on that upshift too. That's fun. Do we talk about value now, or do I wait till I'm in the Bronco? Well, this one is almost $360,000. This is the expensive one. The Bronco's a little bit less. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But I have some thoughts on that, which we'll get to after we drive the Bronco. We're gonna go back along that canyon road and then swap and hop into the Bronco. I mean, body roll is actually acceptable. The big thing is just the steering is so light. You can do this and it still just tracks in a straight line, which makes sense for the class of vehicle that this is like. The things that you interact with, the tactile, like the shifter here, you gotta use a good amount of force, be deliberate with it. The turn signals too, it's like a very short travel, very solid feeling. This does have like an angle telescoping steering wheel. Visibility is obviously phenomenal because it's mostly just open everything. And now driving this K5 Blazer, I think I know I understand why people were so upset with the modern iteration of the Blazer, because I had not as much of a connection with the older Blazer, so I was like, what's the big deal, guys? Everything gets turned into a crossover or whatever. Look at the Mustang Mach-E, right? When the Blazer came out as just this little front-wheel drive-based crossover, there were people who were really upset about it. And if this is what you're used to growing up as a Blazer, right? Then, yeah, okay, I get it. It became an economy crossover, and now it's a EV crossover. So, if you're really upset about it, buy one of these. You could relive your childhood. With that, we will make our way back, swap into that aventurine green Ford Bronco, and see what that one is like with the 5-liter Coyote V8. All right, we are now in the Bronco. So Coyote V8 versus GM LT1. Immediate first impression is how much smaller this is than the K5. I feel like I still have a pretty commanding presence on the road, but width, height-wise, it definitely feels substantially smaller. I don't know if I can use the word nimble to apply to a vehicle like this, but definitely smaller footprint. But I am also noticing this rides way more firm, like extremely firm. You really feel the bumps in the tarmac. I think this needs the Fox shocks like the Blazer has. The Blazer seems way more comfortable. On the inside, we have similar style of upgrades, just relative to this vehicle, right? So this has the billet package, so the door handles, that window up and down rolling handle is all billet. Similar steering wheel, very thin wood here with the 3 spokes. We have a Ford logo in the middle, and we have one big dial on the left for your speedometer, your tachometer, everything over there. And you have a Coyote V8, exhausted headers, very different sound profile. Still a 10-speed automatic transmission. The brakes are good. Disc brakes bring you down, and you just get so much up the outside in wind and noises and everything. It's a bit tiring when you're in traffic. Like there was a big semi that pulled up next to me, and I was like, oh, it was just not enjoyable, right? These are fun leisure toys. You wouldn't want to commute in this. You don't want this as your daily driver. The personality takeaway of these like Velocity Restorations type classic builds, especially like the trucks, like this is the beach house vehicle. Whether it's like Nantucket or like somewhere along the coast, right? Malibu, you have it there on the nice perfect days. You take it down to the beach with your friends or family. Nice, relaxed, slow, easy drive. That's the personality this imparts, right? This is not a canyon carver. I just wanted to find a scenic road to take this on, so we're here driving through a canyon. This thing is firm, is extremely firm. I thought I was gonna like this more than the K5 Blazer because it was smaller, and I was like, okay, it'll probably drive a bit better. I actually think I like the Blazer more. It was really big, commanding road presence, and it definitely rides a lot more comfortably. This has been a very successful model for Velocity. They're individually serialized, and this one is number 449. They've built almost 500 of these, which is impressive. That is definitely impressive. A lot of enthusiasts getting these vehicles. Slight changes to the interior too. We have higher back seats here with a headrest, a tall center console here, which is nicely trimmed in leather. Set your arm, your elbow on there. Visibility similarly is fantastic. Let's talk about the value, all right? So the Bronco is cheaper than the K5 Blazer. And cheaper is a strange term to assign to these toys, essentially, because this is a $250,000 starting price. As option, I believe this one is right around $270,000. The K5 Blazer starts at $340,000, and that one, I believe, is almost $370,000. So call it $250,000 and $350,000 for a toy. What you have to realize, because I can already visualize the comments, oh my gosh, that is way too much money. I could buy a Raptor and a Range Rover and a Rolls Royce and another blah, blah, blah. People, the clients that are buying these, they already have all of those. They have the Range Rover for a daily driver. They probably have a sports car. This is their like 7th or 9th or 15th vehicle, right? They just want the toy. And the nostalgia and the experience is what appeals to them. So rational calculation of value objectively doesn't apply as you get to these higher echelons of just passion projects. And the fact that they're selling them, there's demand, some of these have wait lists, that means they're worth it. Something is worth as much as someone is willing to pay. And the other way I view it is, they're almost like art. Like an engineering project meets art. Because it's like the details, like the billet pieces. It's like a centerpiece you put in your garage. You only take it out occasionally, but it's cool to have as part of your collection, right? As a former engineer, I can appreciate having to redesign a car. This is more like a re-engineering than a restoration per se, right? It's more than just paint and new wheels and tires. They're going in and fiddling with suspension and brakes and integrating newer technology features, some tech creature comforts. It's not as extensive as building a car from scratch. Like the Gunther Works is a whole brand new supercar track monster hypercar. This is still more, again, restoration type stuff, but you get my point, right? It's more than just a fresh coat of paint. Is it worth it? No, you can't say it's worth it, because the same way you can't say a Rolls Royce is worth $500,000, right? It's not 3 times better than a Mercedes S-Class. It's just not a rational thing. It's hard to just apply that statement to anything as you get to this higher tier echelon. It's worth as much as someone is willing to pay for it, and if you're looking to recapture that nostalgia from when you were younger, you always wanted a cool Bronco or a Blazer or an old truck or something like that, and you don't want to have to go through the steps of figuring out how to wire it up and swap in the new engine and transmission and get it tuned up so it's running smoothly, shifting at the right points. You don't have access to a dyno. You don't have a paint shop. You don't want to go find somebody who can do body work. You go to somebody like Velocity Restorations and it's a one-stop shop. They'll do financing. You can trade in vehicles. It's like a dealership. Look at their website. They have a warranty, and you can just buy it, and their turnaround time is pretty good. So I think that is the appeal of something like this. Now, am I a buyer for this? No, you guys know me. You know what I like to do. with my cars and my money, this is not appealing to me, but it's been fun to experience it. And my final big takeaway is the enthusiastic response for complete strangers, just random people as I'm out in the K5, more in the Blazer actually. That solidified it for me. The fact that people would stop and ask about the car and want to check it out, the truck, that's remarkable to me. And that's what speaks to the ethos and the point of something like this. So in summary, don't get hung up too much on the price point. When you get to the point that you're shopping for one of these, I don't think it matters that much anymore to you. It's not how much is it, it's just, okay, I'll take it. I like the paints a lot. The Aventurine green looks awesome. It's a little more subtle than that yellow Blazer. The details, like the billet machining and things like that, are nice. The driving experience, I started by saying you bring it to the modern era, but it's not like modern, right? You put this next to a brand new Bronco, not even a Bronco Raptor, just a regular Bronco. I mean, it's night and day. It's crazy how much vehicles have advanced, but they've modernized certain aspects of it, the brakes and things like that, that are important, but it still, I think, evokes of what a vehicle of that era would be like. Light steering, firm suspension, nice noises, utterly impractical without a roof or anything that seals up whatsoever. Would have put a big smile on your face. I've had a big grin on my face the whole time driving these two. And ultimately, as an enthusiast, that's what matters. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this fun little comparison, getting to try out these two Velocity Restorations builds. They've got an old classic like Mustang. I want to try out one of those because I think that may resonate a little more with me. But this was a ton of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.